Wood River Health is my home for health.
Wood River Health is a one-stop shop for primary medical care, dental care, behavioral health, and social services. We care for the members of our community because they are our community. I'm Allison Croak, President and CEO of Wood River Health. Since 1976, our health center has provided high-quality, affordable health care to residents of Rhode Island and southeastern Connecticut. We are your neighborhood health center. Let us be your home for health.
Well, good day, everyone. I'm Rona Mann, and you are on the aisle with me. And today we're on the aisle at Trinity Repertory Company in Providence, one of the great artistic venues of our state. And Trinity's been around forever. It has produced some of the finest actors. Some of the finest actors are still there, and they keep coming because they come from the Brown Trinity program. And it's a great place to go. And they are never afraid to kind of push the envelope. In fact, they tend to push it off the table sometimes, down the street, down the block. They are not afraid to take risks. And they are very much into DEI. They just do a great job. And they don't always make it, as far as I'm concerned. There are times they take a big risk and it just doesn't work out that well, at least not in my eyes, but they do a great job and they're out there doing it. And it's an exciting theater to go to. It's even more exciting if you are a season ticket holder. If you are a young person or a senior, they always have special pricing. They have all kinds of special performances, and they just go out of their way to bring everyone to the square, as they call it, to their town square. What they're doing right now is kind of almost a 20-year follow-up. It's called Someone Will Remember Us. And 20 years ago, they did, and I wrote, Boots on the Ground. 20 years ago, they did Boots on the Ground, which was about the Iraq War and about 70 different characters and people, real people from Rhode Island that were in one way or another part of it. Well, now they're back with Someone Will Remember Us. And I am here to tell you, you will remember them. You will remember this show. Is it for everyone? No, it is not. It's not a brutal show. It's not, actually, I don't even think there's very bad language in there. There may be a word or two here or there. It's nothing that should frighten you except when you leave and you realize you've just been witness to a kind of a quiet horror. I have never reviewed any show that began with me talking about the blocking. Now, for people that aren't that familiar with theater, you may not know what blocking is. Blocking is when a director is telling his actors where to move, how to move, and when to move. It's what moves the show. It's movement. And people, I don't think, pay that much attention to blocking as a rule. Well, here you can't help it because the blocking tells the story. Damn, they got a great director. They've got Christopher Wyndham. Last season, he directed Fences, August Wilson's Fences. What a fantastic job he did. And he's followed it up with this, which is completely different. But he has a way of making you watch, making you notice, and he knows exactly where to direct your attention. And sometimes he does it very subtly by having two characters on stage just turn their backs and not say a word, and someone else is front and center, and you're not aware at all that there are two people behind. You kind of forget that because you're watching this person. He does it with his lighting cues. are great because there are, I guess the best way to put it, and I'm not an electrician, but there are like placards 3/4 of the way around the theater. And at different times, you hear an audible signal and they light up for a moment. And they might say Iraq or Gambia or Rhode Island. And it lets you know exactly where you are. No heavy duty moving of scenery. There's a little bit of movement of scenery, but the scenery is so simple. Uh, the actors, there are only 8 actors in Someone Will Remember Us, 5 of whom portray more than one character. And this is becoming a thing. I've seen that in more shows, more theaters lately. Again, the director does it so subtly here. Sometimes it's just a matter of somebody putting on a sweater or taking it off. It's just a slight costume change, but that's what you have. And they suddenly become another person. What is this all about? This is about the war in Iraq and about Rhode Island's part in it, the people who were part of it. And by people, not just the ones who fought, but the Gold Star families and the refugees that came here because of it. So it's Gold Star families, veterans, civilians, refugees, and it's done so well. It's done by 3 people, 2 writers and someone else who co-produced it. And their names are, you've got Charlie Thurston, who is a member of the Trinity Rep Acting Company. And as a matter of fact, as I'm here now talking about him, he is in New York about to open in a Broadway play. So good for Charlie. But he has been a member of the acting company here about 12 years, and he is a writer. And he has written this along with Deborah Salem Smith. And the entire thing was co-directed with them by Dr. Michelle Cruz. And she was part of the original show 20 years ago. And it's said that when they started out, because there's a great story, they have wonderful programs at Trinity. And I'm holding this up to the camera. You don't just get who the actors are, you get whole stories from the directors, from, for example, they have community partners. Operation Stand Down Rhode Island is one of their partners, and the Refugee Dream Center. And they are very much a part of, to the point that at the end, at the very end, they ask you, they hand out sheets on your way out, and they ask you if you want to in any way contribute. And it's not just contributing cash. They need everything. They need food, they need furniture, they need clothing. And it tells you what each of these organizations do. And they have been their partners through this. The cast, it's very hard to talk about this cast individually. I'm sure the actors would love it if I did, but they're an ensemble. That is how they were put together. They don't want you to say so and so starred as. They want you to believe that people were people that were part of the Iraq War from Rhode Island. One of whom, and is not an actor in it, but is certainly referred to, one of whom was the first female Marine to be killed in Iraq. Her name, and it may be familiar when I say it because it was all over the news when it happened, Lance Corporal Holly Charette. She was from Coventry. She had gone to school in Cranston. She was a cheerleader, very popular. And she, after 9/11, she decided she wanted to do something for her country. So she enlisted. and she wound up being the first female Marine killed in Iraq. Her parents were there opening night. It had to be very, very difficult for them to see, and yet rewarding in a way. As I said at the beginning, this show is very bittersweet. It's a quiet kind of horror. I don't know how many people sat there and cried. I didn't, and neither did the person that I was with. But it was a collective, wow, when it was over, and a collective, everyone standing ovation. It's definitely something you would want to see if you're into history, if you're into Rhode Island history. It's something you might want to take your high school students to and your college students to, because it's very powerful. It's also very well done. It's only on until the 23rd of February. They do have matinees. They have evening performances. They have performances that are signed for the hearing impaired. There are no loud noises, frightening noises. That's why I say it's a quiet kind of horror. It just happens. And then you realize, wow, this isn't a play. This isn't made up. It happened, the Iraq War. And this is how we took part in it. I'm just amazed that 3 people put this together. It took them a long time, many, many interviews, and there's quite an article in this program telling you how they kind of got on the road and they went and they talked to veterans, parents, all the refugees that came here because of it. They put it all together, but they had a listening tour first. They did a lot of listening, and the hardest thing they had then was to winnow it down and figure out what gets said here. Tremendous performances by everyone. I have nothing negative to say. Maybe one shout out, because it was great to see Jade Zion. He played Kamal, a refugee. He is funny. He makes you laugh. I don't want you to think the whole thing is down and black. There is a certain amount of comedy throughout. He makes you laugh right from the beginning, and boy, can he dance. And yes, he dances on stage. They draw you in. It's almost like watching the old MASH shows, where they'd have you so down, so on the verge of tears about something, and then bang, they brought you right up again with laughter. That is what this is about. It's important to see. Again, not for everyone, but it is important to see. Someone will remember us, and if you go to Trinity Rep and you see it, I think you'll remember this show. 4321 Media, and on the aisle, I'm Rona Mann.
Do you want to get your business in front of over 100,000 viewers every month? Advertise with 321 and enjoy the best value in local advertising while supporting free community live streams. Your message will be seen across live high school sports, morning shows, and local events, connecting you directly with engaged audiences, boosting your visibility, growing your brand, and helping us keep these broadcasts accessible to everyone for free. Partner with 321 today and watch your business thrive.